back to the continuing adventures of our Minotaur as he treks through the dungeon. So far, we've completed an overexplained early dungeon, uh, lair, orc, S branches, and now we've gotten ourselves all the way to the point of depths. Um, at this point in your game, you have a few options available to you. You have elf, and you have depths, and you have crypt. Generally, I avoid going to crypt. There's no reason you have to avoid it, but the branch has a modicum of experience, a little bit of loot at the end, and a couple death traps and scenarios with high will chests that you might not pass, and a lot of resist necro and torment needed. So it's not my ideal next place to go, but it's there. It's pretty good. Elf has a ton of loot at the end. If your build isn't where it needs to be, Elf 3 can potentially get you there. But Elf requires good fire resistance, good cold resistance, good electricity resistance. You can get away without poison, but it's nice to have poison resistance. You need the ability to deal untyped damage to kill the dancing weapons. Ideally, you want some damage at range. And you need high will to prevent from being banished, because banishment happens very liberally in Elf 3. So that's a lot of resistances. You basically need one pip of everything, would be my thought process, and a couple pips of will. And once you know it, we have all of that. So if we wanted, we could go and take on Elf. But here's the flip side of that. We already have a completed build. So we have no incentive to go after more loot. Not really. So we're not going to go to Elf. We're going to continue on to winning the game. Um, I should have a good half hour now. As always, anybody with questions, please feel free to ask, and I will try to answer as we continue through. But let's continue through. Depths. When you first enter depths, there's a 50-50 chance on average, I would say, that you have a good entrance or a bad entrance. We got the bad entrance. A good entrance is one where you have nothing around you and you have plenty of room to maneuver and work and make a beachhead. A bad entrance is one like this, and what makes a bad entrance of depth so hard is how limited your options are. You really can't risk random teleporting. I mean, you can if the bad entrance is that bad, but a random teleport could land you into a very bad situation. You don't want to random teleport if you can avoid it, but you also can't afford to retreat. Because let's say that you go back up the stairs, there's only one entrance, which means you're gonna have to walk through this bottleneck. And if it started off somewhat bad, all these enemies you can't see could be dogpiling you, and these ones could be in melee with you, so it's just gonna get worse. So you are extremely strongly incentivized to stand your ground and fight. Or to kind of pull a Vaults 5, walk away, but walk away slowly and form a beachhead elsewhere. Uh, this is fine when you're a hulking AC-47 Minotaur or Berserker. It's less fine when you're a fragile, I have 6 good spells, but I don't have any HP wizard. But lucky for us, we're the former, so we can get away with it. I know the solution here, but I'm gonna make a point of going through one by one so we can see it. This guy's got Chain Lightning, which is a massive melee burst of electricity. 3d45 could potentially devastate. 3d22 lightning bolts, and the ability to blink up to me. So that's pretty bad. That's Nikola Tesla. This guy's got Orb of Destruction and Bolt of Cold, both of which are quite deadly. I mean, 9d19 damage is 180 damage, right? So if they both land their shots at once, I'm dead. And 154 HP is nothing to sneeze at. Of course, I have anti-magic, so if I hit them a couple times, they're not going to be casting nothing. Let's imagine that you just played on instinct here. You hit Berserk, you start attacking him, you get 5 hits in, he gets a zap, 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 knocks you down about 170, then an Orb of Destruction is coming at you, then your Berserk runs out, and you're dead. There goes your whole run. Not playing on instinct, take your time, think through your outs, really think through your outs, and you will eventually land. Oh, did I never put this ring on last time? Stupid. I gotta put that ring on. Really think through your outs, and what you will eventually land on is that you should have a scroll of silence. Against mages, when you're a berserker, it's always a good idea to consider just making them not cast spells. Both of these are affected by silence. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, we duel on melee strength alone. And I hate to break it to you, Boris and Nicola, but I'm a little stronger than you guys. I'm a little stronger than you guys. Now, we're not going to spend a single extra turn down here because there's nothing crowding the door, and we don't want to be silenced any longer than we have to be. Again, a case of thinking makes the game, stopping thinking and analyzing made that fight trivial. Not doing those things, I might have ended up having to take a random teleport after a bad fight, and then posting to yet another stupid death on the forums about how unfair that door was. This is an unfair door, sure, but that just means you had to use resources to make it winnable. So, now that we have a little bit of breathing room, we're following our typical pattern of play. Establish a beachhead, make sure that we've got security, slowly expand out. We have maxed out resist necro, so I'm going to swap the resist necro ring for the resist corrosion ring, I think. I lose AC and Slay Plus if I do that. That's sad. I could lose a pip of resist cold instead. Put it on the other. We'll just do this. It's fine. It's totally fine. Yeah, 56 and 16 is very reasonable. Okay, the Lich just became invisible. So Liches have Orb of Destruction. I don't think they have Banishment. I'm gonna look it up. Question mark slash monster. Lich. Yeah, they don't have Banishment. They just have Orb of Destruction. So we're just gonna get out of the way here. Close this door. Make him walk up to it. Oh, he already became visible. How cute. Orb of Destruction doesn't deal damage in melee range, basically. So it deals minimal damage in melee range. So getting up to the caster is key. So we're doing our usual thing. We're tiptoeing around. We're establishing a beachhead. We're making sure that things aren't sneaking up behind us. We always have a safe retreat spot, fighting enemies one at a time. Literally the definition of a broken record on this point, but I mean, y'all have seen in this video series how much that is basically all it takes to reduce most fights from extremely hard to merely difficult, or from difficult to solved. Alright, we've got a pretty good exploration here. Okay, I'm comfortable auto-exploring now because we have a pretty good orientation on the floor. Also, we've picked up 9 scrolls of blinking. Bad play would have resulted in us. Actually, I should explain that. Okay, so while I'm just kind of autopiloting this floor, let me explain something about what I mean when I say the power curve. If you assume that for each floor, the difficulty rating of there's no such thing as a difficulty rating, but the difficulty rate. Oh, wait, pause. We've got to deal with Mara. Anti-magic works, but silence does not. Mara is a very dangerous enemy. Mara can split into triplets, and that's what Mara Summon does, and can clone you to fight against you. That's what Summon Illusion does. Uh, I think that I can pounce on her and whack her a couple times to seal her magic. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. But if is it a her? It's a him. Him and but if I can't, I will hit teleport and get away and leave the floor until the illusions dissipate. Nope, he got the illusion off. Okay, if that illusion gets into a position to fight me, we have problems. But it didn't happen, so we're good. Generally speaking, disengage with Mara as many times as you need until you get the one fight that wins. Okay, power curve. So the dungeon presents you, let's say, challenge level 10 challenges at first. And if you are power level 7, then you need to use your wits, your consumables, your bad luck to kind of survive those encounters. Which means instead of gaining power, you're treading water as you go through them. I mean, you're gaining experience, but you're using up consumables and stuff. So if you're behind the power curve, it can be difficult to get ahead of it. And that's why you go out of your way to look for places in the dungeon where the experience is the easiest, so that you can get the experience and the loot and whatever you like without needing to side grade, pick up defensive options, use your resources. When you're ahead of the power curve, if you continue to make good decisions, you can save your consumables, right, while still remaining ahead of the power curve. Also, you can use consumables to put yourself ahead of the power curve, right? Normally, you would have no way of dealing with a gauntlet, maybe, for example, but you go to a gauntlet, you use 3 scrolls of poison, a clever use of lignification, something, and maybe a bunch of your deity piety, and you come out with 2 or 3 amazing artifacts. You have catapulted yourself ahead of the power curve, where you just as reasonably could have gone into the vault, to the gauntlet, and said, I'm not strong enough to win this, and then just backed off, which would have been a totally fine decision. So once you're ahead of the power curve, you tend to get further ahead. That's why this character has 21 scrolls of teleport and 10 scrolls of fog, because I've not had to back off from fights as often. I gotten ahead and stayed ahead and capitalized on being ahead to get further ahead. Um, the more skilled you get, the more you can recognize ways to win situations. So the sensation of being ahead or behind the power curve is less predicated on, we're gonna triple dip by the way, is less predicated on having one particular build or item. Oh look, it's our friend Boris again. That's not cool. Next door, please. I really want to have a good layout of this floor for the situation where I end up teleporting. Well, there's all 3 stairs. Okay. Um, Power curve. Oh my. This looks like you can tell this shape has been pre-made. And they've got a bunch of I yoink you towards me, I pummel you in melee, I toughies, just toughies. We're okay with toughies. We're actually a toughie ourselves. Let's go ahead and Trog's hand. If we were behind the power curve significantly, we would brother in arms here, and that would help us win this fight. Juggernauts get one big hit in, and then they kind of stall out for several turns. So even though he dealt so much damage, he's probably not going to get another hit for quite some time. I'm getting flanked. I'm not okay with that, actually. I'm going to back off so that I can easily retreat if the situation goes south. Pull 2 of you upstairs and just pummel you. Would be ideal. Even now, with my defenses so far above average, I'm still taking the time to try to play reasonably well. We're going to get into a position where Boris has to come around the corner to us so that we can silence him with our axe. Anti-magic him with our axe. See how he has that purple dot? He's been magic disrupted. Alright, we good. Just moving on. Power curve. So, yeah, as you become better at the game and learn situations, enemies, the niche uses of consumables, your sensation of what the power curve is and where you are on it changes. For example, if you didn't know that Wand of Flame casts on electric eels and both damages them, but also makes steam under them, and that steam damages them more, so your threat assessment of an electric eel when you have no resistance uh, is probably pretty high. But knowing that you can zap it twice from range, well, you probably feel a lot more confident. And the number of situations that you're wasting less valuable consumables on goes. You're not blinking away the first time you see an electric eel. Now you're just going in and zap twice done. We're fine here, but let's do this. Cut line of sight with whatever else is coming. Yeah, see, that brain isn't summoning before he reaches us this way. Oh, Dark Maul. Man, I wish I was running Dark Maul. Dark Maul is fun. 207 base damage. You see that? But look at the base attack delay. 2.4. Even at max training, It only goes down to 1.5, but it's the strongest upfront damaging weapon in the game. We're just gonna auto explore a little here. Why don't you all come to me? This is not an ideal position to fight. I should retreat to here. And now that there's a bard each weapon that's flanking me, I will. So yeah, as much as possible, that's part of why we don't dive deeper than we have to, or why we take the easiest EXP on the ground. We want to be ahead of that power curve. Right now, this character is far enough ahead of the power curve that I expect him to only die to situations where I put my head in too far. And that can still very much happen. Zot is so unforgiving. I forgot I had fly on. Alright, that should be that. We don't need to break into there for that stuff. Next floor. Do you banish? At 0%, I'm not afraid of being banished. Thank you. Alright, this is a toughie. All the doors on this floor are in one spot. So we have no choice but to fight our way out from here. However will we do it? Depths in general is just strong, hard enemies in a tight concentration. That's been my experience. The enemies you most want to think about that you may not have met before are caustic shrikes. You know how scary packs of hornets used to be when they would come at you at just the right time? Caustic Shrikes are kind of like that at this stage of the game. Or Melials, I guess, would be another example. They don't smite target you, but they they move extremely fast, they get up on you, and they corrode, which is a ton of damage. These books are also pretty nasty if you're an evade-based character, because those box fiery looking things that they fire in ice or in fire, those things do ignore evade, near as I can tell. Do I have Dig 1 charges? I only have 2, so I'm not going to go after that ring. I'd rather save my 2 Dig 1 charges in case I need them for survival later on. There's a Caustic Strike. Let's take a look at it. Acid burn damage, 36 damage. Flight, its evade is 4 plus, and its speed is 200%. All those things are really tough. You could swing at it 10 times and miss. Not really. But look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My extremely powerful Minotaur took 8 hits. Knocked it out. And they never travel alone. They're almost always in packs of 4. 3 or 4. So being heading boldly into danger and being attacked by all of them at once, not having acid resistance, getting corroded so that every hit of yours counts for less, and then dying, nasty way to go. This is what we want to do. Make sure all these fights are 1v1s. Oh, hey, that wand that I was saying I didn't have enough charges of, I have enough now. Let's go ahead and pop it open. Slay plus 4 with downsides. Pass. You know you're in a good game when you're not even worried about picking up a gold dragon armor. Getting around the corner, getting up on this book, knocking it out. That's just what we do. So this is actually a very interestingly challenging area. For a mage, it's worse, but for a melee, I'm happy that there's all these tight corners that funnel my enemies to me one at a time. I'm less worried about walking around a corner and being toe to toe with something the way that a mage would be. A mage would be relying on summons to be safe here, probably. So far, so good. Giant stack of stuff. And do you see what I mean now when I say the depths tends to have a high concentration of enemies? Like, look how slow our progress is because every square there's another high level enemy ready to push us. Honestly, we could probably deal with the Abyss since we can deal with this, but I'd rather not get mutated to hell and back, and then turns out, whoops, that combination was dangerous. Sure, we'll take a manual of shields. We're just about done training shields anyway. Alright. Yeah, we definitely want to take a Revelation scroll. Um, I guess we don't need Acrobat. We're more or less made up our mind. We're not going that direction. You don't need to pick potions of magic though at this stage. We're very much done with those. Blade Ghost. Always cautious about corners. Usually Hell Knights come in packs of 4, often accompanied by Marjorie, so it behooves me to not take them all on at once. Okay, I think we're basically done with this floor. Certainly we've taken out the core, so I'm just gonna start getting a little quicker on cleanup now. Because if I have to teleport, it's a pretty safe teleport. There's the other caustic strike from the pack. Okay, last floor of depths, I think. Same as before, we like to triple dip, but the reason I love this position is I'm already up against a wall. So I have a pretty safe retreat spot. Oh no! Dig troll, open the door for everyone. Hug the stairs and get out as soon as it gets dangerous. I'll pick off as many enemies as I can until that happens, but as soon as it becomes dangerous, I'm out of here. Those are all reach weapons, so I'm not going to get a lot of value off of them. But so far I've taken 0 damage, so I have no incentive to leave yet. 20-ish damage is some damage, I guess. I'm still winning, so I don't have to pull yet. I guess you're all dead, so I didn't have to retreat, but I was very willing to retreat if I had to. Optimal play from here would be to use this as my beachhead and keep going, but I'm gonna triple dip just as if I had to retreat from that fight and go somewhere else. So we're gonna berserk and then leave. Well, actually, first let's check to make sure we're not about to get confused or something. Strip willpower. Ooh, that could be bad. High probability of beating my will, so let's turn that will all the way up to 11. Doesn't matter. Berserk, kill as many of them as we can. Pull, because if we do get, out of Berserk before the fight is over, we want to be in a safe place. Fairy Dragon Skin. I think we have something way better. We're on Crystal Plate, so. Get all of our abilities back, hop back in, do it again. Oh no, we're going low. Come back up. This is called stair dancing. Up, down, up, down, up, down. When you have very good AC, it's a good tactic. Okay, that's all 3 of our staircases. So we've got a nice corner here, a good beachhead for our invasion of the floor. Back off. Remember, branch ends are always harder, are often harder than the rest of the branch. So we can expect there to be a few caches of enemies that are more challenging than average here. We may have actually already faced them. That swarms that we met, including the Enchantress, was no joke. Absolutely leveraging the AoE ability of my axe, but the only reason I'm being this bold is because I'm right next to a staircase. So even if things go pear-shaped, I can just get out. That's why I didn't bother retreating to a better fight. Absolutely want to get as close to the stairs as I can before I engage this. Oh, you know what? Corner fight? Oh, I don't want them to step on the Zot trap. Corner fight? Ugh, you dig. Okay, we'll do this. Now we back up, get them 1v1, and there we go. Tactics, 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 tactics. 1v1s only, please. 1v1s only, please. Notice that they can't use their breath weapons or beam weapons because they have to approach single file. So I'm not getting pounded by things from the side. Deep into here. We'll take you out. We'll recover fully. Then we'll poke our head out. And then we'll auto travel. Okay, see how I said, like, these final floors are going to be harder, they've clearly structured this middle area as something of a fortress. So let's back all the way out of their fort, get around a corner, and then slowly start to beat up whatever shows its head. Wait about 100 turns so that more things that are coming can come, and then we'll go back in. Let's make sure that there's no flank happening. There is a flank happening, see? So fully explore things that aren't the challenge chamber before we go back into the challenge chamber. And just a pack of abominations. Literally just meat for me to cut. Okay, floor is fully explored except the one spot. If I have to random teleport, the odds are very in my favor. Now we poke our head back in. Ooh, look at that. Instantly miserable. We will never be able to retreat this far without taking 10 shots. We can either teleport out now or stand our ground. And I say we do both. We attack. It's actually even berserk. And then we'll teleport out when things get south. Teleport out. Things are south. I hate this layout. It so forces me to have the worst kind of fight. I'm using the Etten as a body blocker so that they can't shoot beam attacks through him, but it doesn't matter. The Purple Draconian still made it happen. Well, at least he put me in melee with everyone so I can just immediately start wailing on them. Once again, backing off. Satisfactory position to fight from. And again, I'm acting like I'm a weakling when I'm actually hulking Minotaur. I'm not likely to die. Alright, we found it. We finished the entire Star Vault, and we've made it to Zot. Uh, Zot does require a little bit of teaching. I'm going to explain Zot 1 through 4, and then Zot 5 separately. But really, once we finish that, that's pretty much the game, isn't it? So, we're doing pretty good. This run is probably going to succeed or fail in a hilarious way. Um, oh, and we've just about mastered shields, so that's cute. Thank you all for watching. Please continue to send questions in the comments if you have any, and I will see you guys next time.